Hello, welcome to Yoga with Sarah Trapani. I hope that this space is a sanctuary for you to connect to yourself and feel a little more relaxed. So we're taking a well-rounded practice today, laying down on the back to start. So I'll see you there. So we're going to start this practice with hands on the belly and let your heels float in the air. Let the jaw relax. Looking up at your feet, you can just start to observe and notice the alignment of your feet and ankles over your knees. You can circulate your toes a few times, waking up your ankles and feeling that chaining of sensation flowing down into the calves and down into your lower back. And then allowing the feet to soften and the legs are nice and relaxed with the sense of the thigh bones dropping down into the hip sockets. Tuning into your breath and the rising and falling of the belly as you breathe to arrive in your body and arrive in your practice today. We're giving permission to be here and now, and inviting compassion for wherever you're at in your body, always trusting you can back off if you need to at any point. And start to let the heels open out any amount toward a V shape to feel a little bit of length and stretch through the inner thigh psoas, and then start to bring the heels back together. And then we'll inhale to drift the heels open, and exhale, pull the heels in. And as you flow through this a couple of times, let's consider your intention for practice. Think about what you want to bring into your practice today. Let it help guide your effort. It can be something like relaxation or peace, contentment or ease, or anything that comes to mind. And then bend your knees, reach around for the outer ankles or the outside edges of the feet, coming into a happy baby pose. Rock and massage your back on the ground. Scanning a long line of energy from crown to tail. And we'll cross either ankle on top and we'll rock right up to a sit, and we'll take the fingertips behind and bring the soles of feet together. Let your knees splay open. Let your hips draw forward so the deep V of the hip creases points down towards your mat, and we start to walk the fingertips towards your lower back, squeezing your shoulder blades together on the back. Touch your pinky toes together, and as you open your knees on the inhale, look up, arch through the upper back, and then exhale, squeeze your knees in, wrap your arms around and pull your belly in and bring your knees in, exhaling down through the tail. And let's do that again. We're going to inhale, open the knees, fingertips behind, pinky fingers touch, lift up, and then exhale, squeeze in, wrap the arms around, pull in, knees in. One more time. Inhale, open, lift up through the chest, and then exhale, pull the knees in and curl in, letting the tailbone drop down. And then feet are hip width distance. Take your palms back behind you with your fingertips pointing toward your heels. Fan your fingers wide and lift up the hips and pelvis any amount into a reverse tabletop, where we're lifting the hip points. And let's inhale, look up, and then exhale, start to melt the sitting bones down. Flex your feet as you come down and zip your big toes to touch. And we're going to take the hands behind you and just start to take a few bicycles. So we're pedaling the left leg out and then stretching that right heel out. And you see what range of motion is there. So it might be just a tiny little movement, or the legs are going to extend a little more. You have to see how you feel. And we're continuing for 3, 2, 1. Bring both knees in, touch your toes down, and then open your heels out to a half of a V. It's a very short Upavista Konasana. We're going to reach for the toes, spread your chest forward and fold, peeking at your tailbone. And we'll inhale, lift the chest, look forward, and we'll exhale, fold. Stretching out that whole back body from heels to crown of head. Inhale, look up. Exhale, open your elbows and fold. One more inhale, wave on up. Exhale, open and fold. And then drop your tail. Go ahead and sit up big. Cross either ankle on top and roll forward, coming into a tabletop position with the tops of feet flat. And we'll start to shift the chest forward and then shift the hips to the right and then circulate your hips back and then scoop the tail towards your left elbow, swirl the hips to the right and then back. So we're going to take these circular motions, scooping the tail to the left and then over to the right. So it's a good way to wake up the hips, the core, and get connected to letting the breath move your body. And when you come back, we're going to switch. Curl the tailbone, scoop it toward your right, sweep to the left, and continue in this way. Soft jaw, soft eyes. Then we'll do hips to heels, curl your toes underneath, send the hips back and stretch long in this active child's pose with toes tucked. On your inhale, wave into a modified plank, pulling your belly into the spine, gaze up, and then exhale, come up to a downward dog. We're gonna pedal out the feet in your downward dog, lifting up through your lower back. Letting your head hang and dangle. Breathing here. Letting all of your stress and tension roll off the crown of the head, rolling off your back, down into the floor. Now lift your heels and wave into a plank pose. Hold in a strong plank, soft elbows. When you exhale, we keep a nice line from back of head to tail and lower down through chaturanga. Come onto your belly. We're going to take the feet flat. Pull the shoulders on the back for a gentle cobra. Engage your gluteal muscles to protect your back. Then when you exhale, send the hips toward the heels through child's pose. Tuck your toes and come on up to downward dog. Now in downward dog, lift your heels high onto tiptoes and tiptoe forward right between your thumbs. Inhale, pick up your belly, lift, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to fold and hang in Uttanasana. And as we hang, turn your right toes to the right slightly. Take your left hand to your outer right ankle and slide your right hand around, trying to bind the fingertips in that left hip crease. And peek at your right hip, hanging there. Then we're going to switch. Drape the right arm down, reach for your outer left ankle. Slide your left fingertips around and try not to have your necklaces go in your mouth. You peek at your left hip and breathe. One more inhale in that twisting, fold. Maybe those left toes turn out a little bit. And then come back to center, re-parallel your feet. Drop your tail, start to pull your belly in. We're gonna come up. Taking a moment as you come up to stand to find mountain pose, Tadasana. Lifting up through the crown of the head and feeling the outside edges of the feet dropping down into the earth. We're going to lift up just the toes and spread your toes. Then bend your knees, sit back into chair pose, drift your fingertips forward or right up alongside the ears into Utkatasana. And then shift your weight into your right foot. Take a big step back with your left foot coming into Warrior One. Bending your right knee directly over the heel. Good. Now cactus arm. As you exhale, bring your palms in and your elbows in to touch. And then inhale, reach up, palms forward. Exhale, bend, palms in, belly in, and touch. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, cactus. And in and touch. Inhale, open. Exhale, cactus and touch. Then reach forward with your prayer hands. Look down at your right foot. Release your hands to frame that right foot. Straighten your right leg all the way and fold. Peeking at your right hip in Parsvottanasana. Finding that long, peaceful exhale as we anchor your left heel. Now bend through your right knee and press through your right foot. Take a big step forward and then pull your belly in and roll on up into Tadasana, mountain pose. Lifting up through the crown of the head. And then again, we're going to lift and spread the toes, fan the toes wide, feel the quadriceps engage in a subtle way. And then as you soften your toes, drop down into chair pose. And shifting into your left foot, take a big step back with your right foot. So the left thigh bone draws up into the hip socket. Nice neutral gaze. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, palms forward. Exhale, cactus, elbows in, palms in, press. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, cactus, and press. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, cactus, and press. Last time, inhale, straighten. Exhale, cactus, and press. Then start to lean forward. Release your hands to frame that front foot. And then start to straighten that left leg all the way. Now peeking at your right foot. Look at the arch in your right foot. Nice arch there. And then as you let your right rib turn a little toward your left rib, look at your left hip. Let go a little more of your upper body on the exhale. Now bend your left knee, press through your left foot. Take a big step toward the top of your mat. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and take your hands around and lightly interlace your fingers. Peel the arms away from the back. Crown of head hanging down. Then we're going to drop the tailbone down, sweep the arms forward, come all the way to sit, and zip the feet together. Lift up through the chest. It's Ardha Navasana. Strengthening through the core. It's a half Navasana. And then open your knees, soles of feet together. We're going to reach on up, lift up through the hips. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, reach forward and come into a bound angle forward fold for a couple of breaths. Cupping your hands around your toes and finding the space of your breath into your back ribs. And the exhale, pulling the belly in toward the spine. The inhale, lengthening the chest forward a little bit. And the exhale, bringing you a little more deep into that pose. And then dropping the tail and coming up to sit really tall. Bring your knees in, slide your heels out, come onto your back. Making our way back down to rest and soften the back body. Find an inhale through your nose. Exhale, let everything out your mouth. Lightly stepping one foot at a time onto the floor so the feet are hip width distance. And you can tuck one shoulder at a time underneath your back. And then hug your right knee in toward your chest. Give it a squeeze. And then release it down and hug your left knee in and give it a squeeze. And then cross your left leg on top of your right. And then you can scoot your hips to the left a tiny bit and let the knees go to the right for a twist. Take a cactus arm or arms to a T. And you're drawing that left sitting bone away from the chin. And if it felt good for your body, you can look to the left. Tucking that left shoulder blade underneath and behind your heart. I want to send an intention of healing out to my dear Aunt Candy, who went through a heart surgery today. She seems to be doing well, but in thinking of this left shoulder tucking under the heart, I want to send love and healing to my Aunt Candy. And you can send love and healing to yourself or anyone that needs it. And then draw the knees back into center and recenter your pelvis. You could give a little hug. And release your right foot onto the floor and squeeze that left knee in toward the body. And then release that left foot and hug your right knee in. Then cross your right leg over on top. Scooch the hips to the right a little bit. Let the knees go to the left. And you can either take arms to a T, palms facing up, or a more gentle cactus arm, and tuck that right shoulder blade right underneath. And peek to the right and breathe. The space of the inhale expands your diaphragm and expands your belly. And the long, slow exhale pulls the belly in toward the spine. Good. And then gently, let's look toward the knees. We're gonna draw the knees gently back into center and give yourself a little hug and rock and massage your back. Then release your feet and give a little tap, both feet tapping on the ground. Root through both feet hip width distance. Lay your arms alongside the body and take one bridge pose, lifting hips, breathing, spreading your chest toward your chin, opening your heart. Offering compassion, healing to yourself or out into the world, to anyone or anything that needs a little tenderness and understanding. We're going to start to roll down, slowly melting the spine. And when you rest your back, just let it go. Take your feet mat width distance and do a few windshield wipers on your way to your final Shavasana. So when you're ready, extend your legs out and let go into Shavasana, tracing a line from the nape of the neck down along the curves of the spine to the tail. The whole spine unwinds into the support of the floor, and a lot of light and space is able to flow through all the joints and through any places in the body that feel stuck or tight, so that your life force, your prana, can flow in a vibrant way through the whole body. All the tension of your eyebrows, your eyes, even your brain relaxing into the base of the skull. And if there's anything you want to release, you can let it go. If there's any love you want to send out, you can emanate it out. But only if you feel you have that internal energy. It can always be replenishing to send love to yourself first, from yourself. Replenishing the wells inside with your own compassion for wherever you're at today. And let's find also a gratitude practice. Thinking of what you have to be grateful for as you wiggle fingers and toes, and eventually reaching the arms overhead for a reset stretch, hitting that restart button. Softly, gently hugging one knee at a time in toward the body, rocking and rolling over to either side, and we'll rest on the side for a moment and then very mindfully press up to sit. Thank you for you. Thank you for practicing with me today. I really appreciate it, and I wish you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, and trust on the journey. Namaste. And I hope you have a happy, healthy rest of your day. Grateful for your presence here, and if you can like, share, subscribe, and hit the super thanks button to support my channel. All of those things are inspiring, bring me joy, and I want to say that I dedicate this practice to my Aunt Candy, and I hope she gets well soon. Okay. See you next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye.